Why hello there friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum and I'm on a mission to spread peace, love, and positivity through music. Today, I'm going to be doing another triple reaction to Ani DiFranco. We're going to be checking out the songs Smiling Underneath, Angry Anymore, and lastly, Fuel. And for all three of these songs today, we're going to be doing a lyrical deep dive to hopefully come away with some better understanding here. The first time I ever reacted to Ani DiFranco, for those of you who are new to my channel, I was very shocked and simultaneously impressed by Ani. Her ability to stay so energized on stage while she's constantly strumming her guitar, almost like it serves a more percussive purpose rather than melodic. And of course, you know, when you have like different strumming patterns, you can create rhythm through the guitar itself, but with the intensity that she applies to that instrument, it almost feels like her own drum kit just in her hand that's capable of producing pitch and melody. And even the way she sang, it almost was so conversational and even aggressive at times. There would leave less room for melody than you would expect from the average vocalist. So it's really interesting, her style, and I'm excited to hear more from her today, and that is all thanks to Hila the Catchy for making this donation request. Thank you very much, Hila. It is much appreciated, and thank you for bringing Ani DiFranco back to the channel. I'm excited to hear more from her, so let's jump in. Oh, a little xylophone action. Whoa, what is on her fingers? She's got almost like seemingly 5 finger picks. I've never seen this in a guitarist before. And I play guitar, I guess not that much. Pure finger style. Well, I guess not pure, but the optimized finger style.
I don't mind waiting in line. No, no. I don't mind if the bills pile up and the work is slow. I don't mind the gas or the groceries or the grind. Long as I'm with you, I'm having a good time.
No matter all the hardships, if we're together. And wow, it is such a difference from when I first heard her. It's a vulnerable track.
I don't mind the stoner waiter or the poorly cooked food. I don't mind little Miss Kitty or her knucklehead dude. I don't mind if every last person here is ugly and rude. Long as I'm with you, I got a good attitude.
Well, that's nice.
Long as I'm with you, we could be stuck in traffic for over a week.
It's like all of the most annoying things that can happen to you in life. I would deal with all of that as long as I have you with me to maybe deal with that alongside me. You know, misery loves company, but knowing that I have you, it is more than enough to get me over all of these little hardships and bigger hardships too, potentially.
With a car full of quintuplets who are all cutting teeth.
Quintuplets?
And around my neck could be a flaming Christmas wreath, and I'd be smiling underneath.
So on the surface, it's like you're dealing with all this stuff, but smiling underneath. You're content with your life, you're fulfilled.
I don't mind waking up early for a flight that's delayed. I don't mind our week's vacation was chilly and gray. I don't mind the traffic cops or the TSA. Long as I'm with you, I'm
Singing about the TSA in 2008 is hilarious.
with you.
Some things never change.
I don't mind spilling my hot sauce onto my white shirt. I don't mind that twinge when I walk and that knee that I hurt.
I love all these
I don't
little
mind my
stories
gums peeling back on my hair, getting thin.
because I know she's dealt with all of this. Maybe not the hair thinning. She looks like she's got a good head of hair.
Long as I'm with you. We could be stuck in traffic for over a week.
For a week?
Car full
All right,
of
dude.
tablets
I missed that the first time. Over a week is insane.
And around my neck could be a flaming Christmas wreath, and I'd be smiling under, smiling under, smiling underneath.
That's cool. Pause it there. I love the interesting melody in this song. It reminds me a little bit of Alanis Morissette. I'm also a big fan of the texture in the song overall. You can definitely hear a lot of that texture coming from the finger-style guitar playing, but it's also enhanced and accentuated in some moments with the xylophone, with the drums. Everything is serving the lead melody and the vocals rather than like detracting from it, which is always something to kind of take note of in your own arrangements. I'm not sure how many of you write your own music or spend the time, but it's something we can at least appreciate in good music, is the ability to balance the sounds and all of the different tempos and rhythms happening at the same time across instruments, right? You're having to do this mass coordination feat. It's so different from what I heard originally with Ani DiFranco. I am almost surprised that it's her. I really like this style of singing from her in this song. So let's just jump into the lyrics now. There's a lot of a lot of the lyrics we don't really need to discuss in depth, but I want to give it the due diligence it deserves. So the key thing here, I don't mind. I'll deal with all of these things because I'm with you. That is how much she loves you, or loves that person at least, how much she cares and how much she's willing to reframe her negative thinking in many environments to fit more of a positive attitude that she already has in her life. She's doing that process of self-alignment. If you're happy internally, then you're happy in your relationship, and you're happy in your family, and you're happy in your society, and it continues to magnify. Then even if there are terrible things happening on the sidelines in your life, or just mild nuisances, it's easy to kind of let them roll off the shoulders. I don't mind if the bills pile up and the work is slow, the gas or the groceries or the drive. Gone inside with you, I'm having a good time. Something that I always think of as it relates to happy relationships is being able to just do simple things together, deal with the simplicities of life, the simple hardships in life, just living in that boring gray with one another and enjoying that time together. That's a good sign of the health of your relationship. It doesn't have to be the most crazy date idea ever. You can just enjoy each other's company, play a card game together. I don't mind the stoner waiter or the poorly cooked food, little Miss Kitty or her knucklehead dude. If every last person here is ugly and rude, as long as I'm with you, I got a good attitude. Again, it just shows you where her mind is at in regards to this person. They are such a positive force for her in her life. Naturally, she's going to have a good attitude. One thing that I would just say for my own audience here is, I think having a good attitude, it is hard to do in all environments at all times, and sometimes it's helpful to draw from external sources of energy, whether that be in the form of a partner, a loved one, a family member, a friend. But being able to be that own self-generating source of positivity is also a very valuable skill, and it can be trained, and it's not going to solve every problem, but it will help raise your floor, raise your baseline just a little bit. And that's at least something I can speak to anecdotally in my life. I used to be so negative, and I would stay that way. Now, negative thoughts that, happen to me, again, off the shoulder a lot more easily. We could be stuck in traffic for over a week. That's insane. With a car full of quintuplets who are all cutting teeth. So they have 5 kids, all born at the same time, a crazy feat, almost like Octomom with 8, who are all cutting teeth, which I believe means all like doing something for the first time. So they're all going through life experiences simultaneously, which is very overwhelming as a parent. And around my neck could be a flaming Christmas wreath, and I'd be smiling underneath. So even if the worst were to happen or the most egregious situation, I am still happy because I'm with you. I don't mind waking up early for a flight that's delayed. Our week's vacation was chilly and gray. The traffic cops and TSA. Spilling my hot sauce on the white shirt. That twinge when I walk in that knee that I hurt. Oh, for any of you who have like hurt knees, I highly encourage you to look up on YouTube the knees over toes guy. He is super intelligent. He knows so much about knee injuries, strengthening your tibialis muscle, is anterior tibialis, something like that, to strengthen the overall knee joint. I don't know all the details, all right? Just listen to that guy. I don't mind my gums peeling back or my hair getting thin. Long as I'm with you, I win. We could be stuck in traffic for over a week. The quintuplets who are all cutting teeth, the Christmas wreath on fire, but I'm smiling underneath. I like a song like this. It's simple. It feels just very comforting. Like you could just listen to this in the car on a drive with your family. You're smiling. You're happy to all be together. No matter how treacherous the path we're walking, how difficult the journey, or how annoying the circumstances are, if we can do these things together, I'm fine to do anything at all. And there's that quote, in your 20s you think it's about the destination, then in your 30s you realize it's about the journey, and in your 40s you realize it's about the people, the company alongside you on that journey that makes you fulfilled. Something to think about. Anyways, let's jump into the next song here, Angry Anymore.
Notice the humor of my set list when I was writing it, but now it's all becoming clear. For instance, following that song with this song, where I just said, I'm not an angry girl, and now I'm going to say, no, really, I'm really not, I'm really not angry.
It's okay to be angry.
It's kind of a defensive way to start a set.
You just have to channel it appropriately.
Hopefully you'll believe me. Growing up, it was just me and my mom against the world, and all my sympathies were with her when I was a little girl. Now I've seen both my parents play out the hands that they were dealt, and as each year goes by, I know more about how my father must have felt. I just want you to understand that I know what all the fighting was for.
kid witnessing the family fighting and not knowing how to interpret it. Angry at the dad for causing the arguments, but not knowing where they were coming from.
She taught me how to wage a cold war with quiet charm. But I just want to walk through my life unarmed, to accept, just get
What is that lyrics? She taught me how to wage a cold war with quiet charm. That is interesting. Weaponizing one's kindness, so to speak. And a cold war is not an aggressive one, it's more passive aggressive, right?
But I just want to walk
Used with proxies
through
and
my
such.
life unarmed, to accept, just get by like my father used to do. But without all the acceptance and getting by that got my father through, I just want you to understand that I know what all the fighting was for. And I just want
That's very
you
mature.
to understand that I'm not angry anymore. No, I'm not angry anymore.
Her finger style playing is very impressive to me. I think this is my favorite version of her guitar playing that I've heard thus far.
Night falls like people into love, and we generate our own light to compensate for the lack of light from above. And every time we fight, cold wind blows our way. We can learn, like the trees, how to bend, how to sway and say, I guess I...
Like compromising, bend and sway.
Cold wind blows our way. We can learn, like the trees, how to bend, how to sway and say, I guess I understand what all this fighting is for. And baby, I just want you to understand that I'm not angry anymore. No, I'm not angry anymore.
Oh, I like her little breathy head voice. Well, less of a head voice, but right in that range where it's light. I like songs like that kind of show her emotional maturity and growth, because it's important to understand. And I'm probably speaking or preaching to the choir here, but I like to do these I like to reaffirm the knowledge that I have and bounce it kind of off of you. As a child, we'd see our parents go through easy times, hard times, and we don't necessarily know how to interpret everything because we're learning the world, relationships, communication, all of it and everything for the very first time. It's the first time we see all of this, and we don't know how to communicate our feelings around it. We don't know how to properly interpret things or understand them. Oftentimes it takes many years to even begin to shine the spotlight on some of maybe the issues that were caused as a result of arguing between the parents in this example. And it's if you think about it, it's the parents' first attempt at life too. Probably one of their first attempts at a relationship like this, like a marriage and with a child. Everybody is trying their level best for the first time, and we don't have this knowledge even of the first time effect as a child. So if we somehow put it in our minds that this one parent is the instigator, then your affect towards them throughout your upbringing in life is going to be against them, without even your own knowledge and why you may act and behave the way that you do. And then that Cold War that she was referencing can sort of emerge, causing this unspoken rift. I'm glad that in this song she says, I just want you to understand now why this was the way that it was, and now that I get you, I'm not angry anymore. I was angry, I acknowledge that, I'm sorry for that, and maybe we can move forward through this level of understanding. It took many years, but here we are now. So let's go through the lines here. Growing up, it was just me and my mom against the world, and all my sympathies were with her when I was a little girl. But now I've seen both my parents play out the hands that they were dealt, and as each year goes by, I know more about how my father must have felt. So I don't know the exact backstory of Ani DiFranco, whether it was just her and her mom, as in like her mother was a single mother and then they found a stepfather, or she married another man and that man became her stepfather, or if they were married together to begin with. But I don't think that will matter in this case, because now she's seen how both parents are feeling, and as she's grown older, she's beginning to empathize and understand the position of her father. I know what all the fighting was for, and I just want you to understand I'm not angry anymore. We don't know what all the fighting was for. These events are taken at face value, like, okay, there was fighting in this family. We don't know why they were fighting, what caused what, but clearly Ani took her mother's side. But now that anger that I held for you on behalf of my mother and the little that I understood at the time, I'm letting go of that anger. She taught me how to wage a cold war with quiet charm, kind of insidious almost. But I just want to walk through my life unarmed. I didn't even catch this line the first time. I love this line because basically she's constantly primed to be, at the ready. She's constantly thinking of ways that she can engage in, let's say, a verbal battle with her father and cast aspersions his way and be angry. The words are weapons, right? So she just wants to walk unarmed. I don't want to have these ideas implanted in my brain. To accept and just get by like my father learned to do. But without all the acceptance and getting by that got my father through. So the father would just kind of lay down maybe and accept the situation that he was in. Maybe much of the relationship's tumult was caused by the mother, and the father learned to kind of acquiesce. So Ani now wants to accept and just get by without all the acceptance and getting by. That is interesting too. It's like, I realized that I had to go through all of these things and I'm happy to do it, but also I wish I didn't have to do it all. I wish I could have had that simple, stock, standard life without any trauma and difficulty, and the parents were together and happy and nothing was amiss, and here I am now having to reconcile all of these conflicting feelings over a long stretch of time. And the father's been dealing with it all the way. And I just want you to understand that I know what all the fighting was for. Again, the repetition here. Night falls like people into love. We generate our own light to compensate for the lack of light from above. Every time we fight, a cold wind blows our way. This is dense. Night falls like people into love. So people fall into love, right? The double. We generate our own light to compensate. So somehow we fall into love, but we also fall into a bit of a darkness at the same time. It kind of blinds us to some of the realities that are, let's say, causing issues in the relationship. And now, instead of addressing them head on, we have to generate our own light and maybe kind of cope one way or the other, because there's a lack of light from above. Every time we fight, a cold wind blows our way. Kind of like it shakes the foundations of the relationship with each fight that isn't actually leading in productive resolution. But we can learn, like the trees, how to bend, how to sway and say, I think I understand what all the fighting's for, and baby, I just want you to understand that I'm not angry anymore. No, I'm not angry. And I think now here it shifts to the perspective of the mother, which is interesting. But even before that, we have the sort of tool to mitigate some of the fighting. We can learn, like trees, how to bend and sway and reach compromises that feel like so far out of the capacity of what the relationship is, because you're so in your feelings and emotions. And of course, when emotions are high and tempers are heated, a lot of things can be said that amplify the negative aspects of the relationship. It's important to take a step back, take a deep breath, and bend and sway just a little bit. Try to understand, try to be forgiving, try to show grace. All of that and more in the context of a relationship will help it blossom rather than wither away. And there's another idiom I'll share with you. The grass is greener wherever you water it. I'm liking these songs today. Anyways, let's jump into the last tune here. Fuel.
We are not alone. This I want to dedicate this to all you've been rabble rousing down there
Rabble
on
rousing.
the bridges and the byways and
What is rabble rousing?
giving us fuel for change.
Ooh, there you go. Oh, it's I like this riff.
I actually wrote this a long time ago. I don't know what occasion. I was living in New York, and I had the occasion to be down in the financial district.
Ooh,
And,
that little rake she did right there.
district.
Ooh,
And,
dum-ba-dum-bum.
You know, was duly creeped out. I actually remember one of the first times I came to New York. I think I was
spoken word?
about 15 or 16, and I caught a van ride from Buffalo. I knew some people that were, and so me and my friend decided to go busking, and we made the erroneous call that we should go where people have money. You know, so that's where we went. We went way downtown, and yeah, we got a lot
Got a lot of money.
of responses. Very few of them financial.
Oh,
a lot of
wow.
fucking get a job and shit, you know. It
Wow.
was
Very few financial.
dudes on their lunch hour. And then we took our like $2.50 that we made all day, and we were walking back up to where we were staying, and we passed by this deli, you know. Some Middle Eastern guys, I don't know, and the grate was like halfway down, but we were like, what can we get for $2.50, you know?
$250 or $2.50? I was thinking $250.
Middle Eastern guys, I don't know, and the grate was like halfway down, but we were like,
Wow.
what can we get for $2.50, you know? And they were all in there sitting around a table smoking cigars and playing cards. The place was closed. Dudes were like, come on in. And then they saw we both had guitars, me and my friend
cool.
Michael, and they said, play us a song. And they passed the hat around. The
Literally, like singing for your supper.
dudes playing cards passed the hat around, and they made us our dinner money. And that's when I learned the people that have the least give the most. They were digging a new foundation in Manhattan, and they discovered a slave cemetery there. Made their souls rest easy. Now the lynching is frowned upon, and we've moved on to the electric chair. And I wonder,
This is like a rap flow right now. What?
made their souls rest easy. Now the lynching is frowned upon, and we've moved on to the electric chair. And I wonder who's gonna be president? Maybe Barack Obama. Who's gonna have the big blockbuster box office this summer? Maybe we could put up a wall between the houses and the highway, and then you could go your way and I could go my way.
Dude, that riff is so groovy and I like it a lot.
Said all the radios agree with all the TVs, and the magazines agree with all the radios. And I keep hearing that same damn song everywhere I go. Maybe I should put a bucket over my head and a marshmallow in each ear and stumble around
She's so good with her descriptors.
for another dum-dum week, for another humdrum hit song to appear.
Ooh. The chromatic.
No band here.
interludes. And people used to make records as in a record of an event. The event of people playing music in a room. Now everything is cross-marketing. It's sunglasses and shoes or guns and booty, you choose. We got it rehearsed.
True.
We got
Yeah, a lot of cross-pollination between different industries and verticals, all trying to commodify whatever their product is. And you kind of take away from the soul of the original when you do a lot of that. Now, there are certain like brand collaborations that make sense, but you guys can probably find 10 times the number of examples of brand collaborations that make no sense.
in a room. Now everything is cross-marketing. It's sunglasses and shoes or guns and booty, you choose. We got it rehearsed. We got it half-assed. We're digging up all the graves and we're spitting on the past, and we can choose between the colors of the lipstick on the horse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we can choose between the colors of the lipstick on the horse. 'Cause we know the difference between the font of 20% more and the font of teriyaki. You tell me, how does it...
Dude, it's so interesting. So I'm like completing my PhD in marketing, and so much of what she's saying, all of these little details and mechanics of the way that corporations think, the way that promotions are placed, the way just businesses and businesses operate and products are offered, marketed, then sold. She's very wise to have all of this intuition.
Between the font of 20% more and the font of teriyaki. You tell me, how does it make you feel?
Yeah.
You tell me.
Right.
You tell me.
And a big part of marketing too is trying to understand the psychological demands of the consumer, and in essence they use those psychological mechanisms to motivate your purchase or your decision making in their favor. And it's often very shaky at best, its ethical nature, oftentimes extremely predatory. It's very it's like interesting but grimy all at the same time. And now the way you can see like social media going and algorithms and the tech sector in general, we have to keep our wits about ourselves, that's for sure.
You tell me, how does it make you feel? You tell me. You tell me. What's real?
Yeah, what's real? Is it all... Are they selling want? Are they selling a solution to a problem they created out of thin air?
And they say that alcoholics are always alcoholics, even when they're dry as my lips for years, even when they're stranded on a small desert island with no place in 2,000 miles to buy beer. And I wonder, is he different? Is he different? Has he changed what he's about? Or is he just a liar with nothing to lie about? Am I headed for the same brick wall? Is there anything I can do about anything at all except go back to that corner in Manhattan and dig deeper this time, down beneath the impossible pain of our history? Yeah, down beneath the bedrock of the mystery, beneath the sewage system and the path train, beneath the cobblestones and the water main, beneath the traffic of friendships and street deals, beneath the screeching of kamikaze cab wheels, beneath everything I can think of to think about, beneath that all, beneath all, get out, beneath the good and the kind.
Her songs are very, very lyrically dense.
And the stupid and the cruel, there's a fire just waiting for me. It's waiting, ah yes, waiting for fuel.
Wow. That is cool. Like a spoken word performance turned into a song at the end, but it's just such a exclamation point. What a statement of a performance there. I am incredibly impressed by what I'm hearing from Annie. she is extremely versatile in all of her skill sets. I definitely don't know what to expect from her at any given moment at this point. I'm just here for the ride. And I mean, I'll talk about the music playing first, and then we'll jump into the lyrics here. Her ability to just talk and repeatedly play this riff ad nauseum, that is sort of a mental breakthrough you have to reach as a musician. If you guys have heard of polyrhythms, they exist. Basically, it's like if I'm counting in one measure, like 100 beats per minute, I'm meant to play quarter notes in this hand and triplets in this hand. You can imagine coordinating that can be extremely challenging. So she's basically doing that with her voice, because the voice, of course, is an instrument, and when we speak, there is a lot that goes into it: the intonation, the words that we use, the decibel, how loud we are, the accent or voice we choose to put on top of it, any effects, right? The voice is already complex. You stack on top of that this complicated guitar riff that involves the fingerstyle, that involves the rake, the back and forth. You're having to now say those complicated words while you do it. It's very, very impressive to me. Let's jump into the words now. There's a lot here, and I think when I was reading through this, some of the things that she said in the video were not mentioned in the lyrics and vice versa, so we'll go with the lyrics on this page, songmeanings.com. They were digging a new foundation in Manhattan. They discovered a slave cemetery there. May their souls rest easy now that the lynching is frowned upon, and we've moved to the electric chair, right? Pointing out the irony in still offering a way to end life. And I wonder who's going to be president, Tweedledum or Tweedledummer. So she mentioned Obama here. And who's going to have the big blockbuster box office this summer? How about we put up a wall between the houses and the highways? It's already so dense, talking about our past with slavery, about like the use of lethal, I guess, like death row, lethal force in death row? Is that what it's called? Lethal injection, I guess electric chair too. Now the times, who's the president going to be? What's going to be the newest, latest movie? All of this like commodification, all of this idolization of the things that are out there. How about we put up a wall between houses and the highway? Let's start gentrifying things. Let's start changing the mechanics of how we live. You can go your own way and I can go mine. We can split apart. We can become more polarized. Except all the radios agree with all the TVs, all the magazines agree with all the radios, and I keep hearing the same damn song everywhere I go. You know, it's interesting. You can even find examples of this in corporate logos, for example. If you look at pictures of before and after, corporate logos used to be very colorful, very creative. Now they're all just black and white, gray, like monoliths of what logos ought to be. You can even see that with housing. So many houses now don't have that character anymore. They're all homogenized to fit a societal norm. And who established that norm, by the way? Who knows? But here we are. Maybe I should put a bucket over my head and a marshmallow in each ear and stumble around for another dumb, numb week for another hum. Sohum. Drum hit song to appear. Yeah, like, do you just drown out all the noise? Do you turn off your cell phone forever? Do you go monk mode? How do you deal with all of this constant influx of information, but somehow it's all the same information? And even if you consider like artificial intelligence now, what is AI? It is simply repurposing all of prior knowledge, all of that corpora of textual data, let's say, and repackaging it in a way that can be served readily to you. But where's the creativity in that? It actually shrinks the overall subset of knowledge we could ever hope to achieve if we overly rely on artificial intelligence. Have to think about all of these things. People used to make records, as in record of an event, the event of people playing music in a room. Now everything is cross-marketing. It's about sunglasses and shoes and guns and drugs. You choose. It's like the art that we had is now being completely watered down. Again, commoditized. There's no real soul to it anymore. You can hear it in a lot of like standard pop tunes, you know, even at that time of the release of this song. But in the modern era, there's so many tracks that just lack soul, because once the writers, you know, finish what they're doing, then the bureaucratic machine churns and filters and changes and modifies the song into something that's completely marketable for the biggest audience ever. And it's all great, when in reality it is no longer a human creative invention. It is just a Frankenstein of a song. Just robotic, without any spirit. We got it rehashed, got it half-assed. We're digging up all the graves and we're spitting on the past. And you can choose between the colors of the lipstick on the whores, because we know the difference between the font of 20% more and the font of teriyaki. You tell me, how does it make you feel? And it kind of flips the script here, right? All of this commodification, all of these efforts by businesses and corporations and marketers to alter the way you think. How does it actually make you feel that I see past all of your lies and deception? I know what want is, I know what need is, and what you're presenting is just fictitious. Again, you are selling want, you are selling need, when it otherwise didn't need to be there. And what is marketing for? It's to explain the value of a product or service to a potential buyer. If the product has no implicit value, or the reason for the product's existence is to solve a separate problem that was also manufactured, that need comes from nowhere. And now you're just doing the thing that snake oil salesmen do, but just on a grander, more professional level. You tell me what's real, and they say that alcoholics are always alcoholics, even when they're as dry as my lips for years. I don't know, I believe this to be the case because of chemical dependence, but I don't have that level of knowledge physiologically. What happens? Even when they're stranded on a small desert island with no place in 2,000 miles to buy beer, and I wonder, is he different? Is he different? Has he changed? What's he about? Or is he just a liar with nothing to lie about? Talking about the alcoholic here, or the supposed alcoholic. If he's able to live comfortably in that island, has he changed? Or is he still an alcoholic? Maybe that is like improper messaging if it's saying that alcoholics are always going to be alcoholics, but again, the part of me thinks if there is a chemical dependence truly, then the addiction may stay there forever, and you may have that urge even 15 years down the line. And I've heard this to be the case. I don't know it to be true or not. I don't have that lived experience. That line here, I like that line. Or is he just a liar with nothing to lie about? I don't have anything to lie. I'm not an alcoholic, so should I just pretend and claim like I'm an alcoholic? Am I headed for the same brick wall? Is there anything I can do about it? Anything at all? Except go back to the corner in Manhattan and dig deeper this time, down beneath the impossible pain of our history. Beneath unknown bones, the bedrock of the mystery, the sewage systems in the path train, the cobblestones in the water mains, the traffic of friendships and street deals, the screeching of kamikaze cab wheels, everything I can think of to think about. Beneath it all, beneath all, get out. Beneath the good and the kind and the stupid and the cruel, there's a fire just waiting for fuel. And what a way to end this song, right? Singing that loudly, proudly. And kind of the way I think of all of this here is there's so much fluff on the surface. There's so many things that kind of conceal what our actual focus should be, which is to feed our own inner flame and fuel it and nourish our spirits. Instead, a lot of these things that are seeking our time and attention and money are not there to nourish us, but there to extract from us and drain us as a parasite does. Search beneath all of that surface level stuff for the fire, and once you've seen that the fire is there, add fuel to it. Discover what fuel looks like for you and add. I'm telling you, you will be better off for it. The world will be better off for it. Ani is telling us that exact same thing, and such a great message. Such a great message. So that's all I have for you today. I gotta say, I really enjoyed this triple reaction. A lot to appreciate with Ani's playing, with her singing style here, with her performance and candidness, honestly, because on stage, she is speaking to every human in that audience. She is not treating it very impersonally. She is sharing all of the parts of her that she wants to in a very authentic way. And these days, with all the AI stuff, with the advent of social media and how things are going, we crave authenticity like no other, and Ani has that in spades. And that's just from like the stage performance musical perspective. Lyrically, she is diving so deep into all of these topics about family, about commodification of assets in our time and energy. She's wise beyond her years. Definitely would be interested in listening to more Ani on the channel. So if you enjoyed my reaction and would like to see more, you can request a reaction using the first link in the description box below. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.